And welcome in to another episode of Off Script. My name is Zak Herbstreit, and USC fans, we're about 2 weeks into spring ball right now, and with that comes spring updates, some spring intel, if you will. But before we get into that today, if you enjoyed the channel, if you enjoy college football, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps me out a lot, so I appreciate you guys. But let's get into it here, starting over the defensive side of the ball. That's what I want to start. I know a lot of people, they love talking about the offense first and the quarterbacks and the receivers and Lincoln Riley and all that. I want to talk defense, and specifically I want to talk Gary Patterson. And I don't think people realize how big of a hire Gary Patterson is for this USC defense, because given his track record, extreme success at TCU, College Football Hall of Famer, you literally have a College Football Hall of Famer on your staff currently at USC, which is insane to hear. But I feel like a lot of people don't understand like the magnitude of this and how good the potential of your defense is going to be. And right now, from what we've seen, from what I've heard so far, he's extremely hands-on with the defense. He's darting around to each position group, and he's going from the safeties to the linebackers, the defensive ends, and showing different techniques and showing like, hey, I want you to do like this, and when you drop, it's supposed to be like this. So he's extremely hands-on, and from a player, from a coach, from a fan, like that's exactly what you want. You want a guy like that's being like a John Summerall right now at Florida, where he's on the jog around and he's just bouncing around to different drills. Like, you don't want a coach that's just dialed in only on the linebackers, because that's not growth. That's not growth for anyone. It's only growing the linebackers. But what about the defensive lineman? What about the secondary? What about So the fact that he's going around to each position group and saying, hey, do it this way. This is how I want you to do it. If you want to play, this is how I want you to do it. And these guys are learning. These guys are developing. I'm really high on this guy right now. And what I love is he's really committed to changing the defensive culture at USC. And how he's doing that is he's splitting these 15 practices into 3 different phases. So 5 practices for each phase. So the first phase is the teaching phase, where everyone's kind of at the same. You could be a 3-year starter, 4-year starter. You could be an incoming freshman. You're all learning the same technique at the end of the day. It's the teaching phase and learning technique. The second phase here is the improvement phase, using what you learned in those 5 practices to improve your own play. Start kind of implementing that technique into your own play and being like, okay, now this starts to make sense a little bit. Like, it's kind of like riding a bike. Like, I'm starting to get a little bit more. I'm starting to get a little more. And then the last 5 practices are the evaluation, where the coach is kind of sitting back there like, is that number 23? Yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's going to be playing for us. Oh, this guy? He needs about a year or 2 of development, and then he'll be good for us, which is pretty interesting. The fact that and I know most colleges around the country do it like this, but to hear him say, teaching to improvement to evaluation, it's interesting to hear that and his philosophy around that. So Gary Patterson, I think, is going to be one of the better defensive coordinators in all of college football. I think he has potential to be one of the probably best coaches in all college football. I'm really excited for him this upcoming season. And I also want to talk about some standout players so far on the defense, starting with Luke Wafel, the number 1 recruit for USC. I know he was a big name, and getting him in there was huge. But seeing him out there in his pads, and he looks like Hercules. I mean, it's ridiculous to see him out there. But 6'6", 267 pounds. He looks incredibly fast off the line. From watching him, I feel like nowadays when you watch defensive linemen, they either have that little, like that quick jolt off the line, that twitch off the line. This kid has it. There's some guys that, like, I feel like you're either born with it or you don't have it. This kid is born with it. And, the guys like Myles Garrett, the guys like TJ Watt, that they have that frame. And I think this kid it kind of falls under that category of being the potential, the frame of being like those guys. But he's just young. He's a freshman, incoming freshman, needs to learn the technique. He will eventually have the potential to be like that. He could be like that. And if USC had a guy like that, I mean, that'd be really scary with some of those Big Ten quarterbacks. But I think development over time, couple months, I think this upcoming season is going to be huge for him, just getting a couple games under his belt. But I think he will be a game wrecker for USC and could potentially be one of the better players in the Big Ten this season. And another name here, Elbert Hill, Rock Hill, has been a big name, incoming freshman, helping out the secondary. Gary Patterson even said that it's kind of a lighter group as far as depth goes, so adding to that would be huge, and Rock Hill seems to be like he's improving. Moving on here, I want to talk about the offensive side of the ball, and specifically Jaden Maiava. He's leveled up in a big way. from what I've seen, and they've shown clips here and there of, they're not going to show the whole practices, but from the clips I've seen and from seeing him, on the run or throwing off balance, the arm strength that I've seen from that is incredible. And from what I've seen 2 years ago to even last year to what I've seen now, the improvement, the jump he's made is not only is going to make him a Heisman contender probably this year, but probably put his team in the position to potentially make the playoff. Like he's that good right now, and I don't just loosely throw that one around. Like he's legit. And from what I've been told, he has taken on more of that leadership role from being this kind of shy, humble guy to now being more hands-on with the team and being that vocal quarterback and kind of willing his team to a playoff berth or more than a 9, hopefully a 10, 11 win season this year, which would be monumental for the program. But I think at the end of the day, when I'm watching him play, the one thing I just want to see is just confidence in games and just understanding I don't need to make that shot downfield. Like I don't need to throw it in triple coverage. And there was a couple times last year where I love his aggressiveness to the position. I admire it. I really do. But at the end of the day, you just need to put your team in the position to win ball games. And sometimes he didn't do that. He got a little big for his britches, if you will, and threw the ball downfield, and it was either, maybe an interception or incomplete and 3 and out, and it's like, well, you had a dig or you had the check down or something like that. Like, I just think progression-wise, maybe reading it a little bit better, just understanding what's open, understanding the offense just a little bit better. So for him, I think he's made incredible improvements from where he was to where he is now. So I'm excited to see what he can do this upcoming fall and the improvements for this offense this upcoming fall. And speaking of improvements, I want to talk about the wide receiver position room. This was one of my concerns coming into spring because of the loss of Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon, and even Nick Hines is a little limited this spring. So I'm thinking, like, who's the guy? Who's going to be catching passes? And right now, NC State transfer Terrell Anderson is really making progress with this coaching staff. They're really high on this kid. He's making plays left and right. And he wasn't some crazy player at NC State, too. He had 30, 40-something catches for only 600 yards last year. So seeing him kind of level up on this USC offense under this Lincoln Riley offense is really awesome to see. I also want to mention freshmen standouts Trent Mosley and Caden Dixon-Wyatt are, as advertised, they're showcasing their talents incredibly well right now. These coaches are also incredibly high on them. And I think it's interesting for freshmen, too, because you have to gain that trust with the coaches. Right now, it's do you understand the offense? Do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand, like, in this coverage, like, where to run? Or so watching these young guys, watching these transfers come in and showcasing their talents and showcasing, hey, you can trust me. Like, hey, I've been, I'm maybe young, I may be coming from a different school, but hey, like I'm ready to help this team win, and I'm ready to showcase my talents in this fall. So interesting to be in that receiver room, see it evolve. I think it's gonna be really interesting to see that. But USC fans, I want to hear your takes. We're 2 weeks into it right now, so it's probably nothing too crazy right now. But what are your bold takes right now? What are your thoughts, concerns? I'd love to hear it all. But like I said, this is Off Script. My name's Zak Herbstreit. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys soon.